welcome to the Beyond Business as Usual interview series. My name is Philippe Dubois. I'm your host, and to have the pleasure to be talking with Jared Kugel. Do I get your name right? Jared
One of the
Kugel.
few, but yes.
Okay, good. Who is the owner and founder of Tire Agent? Now, I'm really excited to be talking with you about entrepreneurship, how do you about your entrepreneurial journey, Jared, because you've got a story to tell. And
Yeah.
I think that it's very inspiring, and I wanted to have my podcast viewers to really be hearing that because it's very inspiring. So let's just kick it off a little bit about yourself, the business, and let's take it from there. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
absolutely. I think I had the most unorthodox route to getting to success stage in my life, but I'm happy to share it and hopefully we can inspire some people. So, my background has always been in tires. Ever since I was a teenager, I worked for my family's company that had a tire wholesale and retail business. And I was there for about 13 years. And I had done everything from logistics, importing, B2B sales, warranty, warehouse, like you name it, I did it, right? So, but my dad never wanted to give me anything. So what he did was he gave me everything on commission. I had to earn it. So it was like feast or famine. The other people that were related to the owners, they got salary, but my dad was always a little bit extra hard on me, which I appreciate now. And him and I are honestly like best friends now, which is great. Working together, not so much, but now definitely. So I could say I got a lot from him. I learned a lot of my work ethic from him. But then after about 13 years, I felt the business kind of going down. It was stale. They didn't really want to innovate anything. And I had all these, back then, I guess, crazy ideas, right? Which turned out not to be that crazy. So one day I went on LinkedIn, pitched an idea to a stranger who I had only seen talk on a panel once. And I said, you don't know me, but I saw you speak 5 years ago, and I have an idea about tires I think you should know. Keep in mind, I did not know this person. I literally saw his face on LinkedIn, clicked, wrote a message, sent it to him. So then he goes to me and he goes, okay, if you have a deck, I didn't know what a deck was. I thought that was like something attached to a house. Like I had no idea, right?
Yeah.
So he goes, if you have a deck, send it to me and I'll look at it. I didn't know what a deck was. So I Google who can write me a deck for $100 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I found someone overseas to make a deck. And to be honest with you, it was a piece of crap. It wasn't even a good idea. It wasn't a good deck, but I sent it to him because I didn't know any better. And believe it or not, after 2 calls, 1 in-person meeting, and about on the 7th day from when I pitched them, they made me an offer. They gave me about $100,000 at the time. I don't know what their program is now, but that's what it was at that time. It was $100,000 to get into a tech accelerator. And for those people who don't know what a tech accelerator is, you spend a few months under the mentorship of a venture capital experienced people, and they're a venture capital firm, but they focus on pre-seed and seed, which is like the early stages of funding. And then they kind of mentor you in terms of business strategy and how to think about fundraising and all sorts of different things to kind of coach you on that world. And then at the end of it, you go on stage in front of 1,000 people and you pitch your idea. So
Really?
I'm in this accelerator. Yeah. So I'm in this accelerator. Keep in mind, I'm the only person who worked in the tire industry or somewhat similar type of industries. Everyone else came from fancy schools, big corporate jobs, consulting companies, all this stuff. And I'm a guy who went to, a good school, not a great, I wouldn't say like Ivy League. It was a good school.
Okay.
And I went to, I had a school of hard knocks, right? Working in the tire industry. And then from there, it was kind of intimidating because I didn't feel like I belonged. And during the program, I felt kind of lost. But you know what? They did a great job coaching me and mentoring me and kind of being like is equally hard on me as my dad was. So what I forgot to mention was when they gave me the offer, they told me I had like 24, 48 hours to give them a decision. And I literally woke up the next day and I said, I'm doing it. Because how often is a random person going to give me $100,000, right? So I'm in the program. My idea probably pivots a couple times because, I'm a big believer in failing fast.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm in the program, I now do the demo day. And the day before or a couple days before I get on to demo day, I end up locking in a contract with one of the largest household names in America, which was amazing. So we're still strategically, partnering together on projects, which is great. But I get on stage and I'm thinking I'm going to kill it. And I was very charismatic. And keep in mind, I am not an extroverted person. Like outside of doing the podcast and outside of work, I like to just like lay low. So someone like me who's never done public speaking, getting up in front of 1,000 people is incredibly nerve wracking.
That must have required lots of guts, huh?
Uh, let's just say I threw up before going up there. My stomach was like in knots. Like I felt like I was about to pass out. So I go on there and I do great, but nobody wants to really invest in me. And it was probably one of the darkest times because at that moment, when I take that offer and I quit my job, I go from making, good money to zero, like literally nothing.
Even like,
Yeah. And the thing is, taking nothing is okay. But if your expenses are fixed and you take nothing, sometimes it's not so easy to adjust when you have a mortgage and you have a car payment,
yeah.
And so I ended up losing everything. And I ended up having to sell a lot of my possessions to pay for food. And I went through a really dark period in my life. And a good friend of mine offered to loan me $10,000 to get me back on my feet, and I wouldn't take it. I never told my parents about it. In fact, my mom only found out about it this year, 8 years later. I never told her. And, when you're in that point in your life and things seem really dark, it's really easy to spiral. And so as I'm kind of like already kind of depressed because things aren't working out, I get a letter from the bank that if I don't clean up my back due pay, I'm going to lose my condo. So now I'm on the verge of being homeless. And I'm now trying to figure out what to do. And I'm selling my possessions. I'm scrapping, together, anything I can for food. I lived off of crackers and jelly for a bit. It's the only thing I could eat. And so that was the skinniest I've ever been in my life because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford food. And basically what kind of dug me out of it, I said, I don't have a backup plan. Because at that point, my family's company was not doing well. I kind of saw the handwriting on the wall. Couldn't go to my parents. And I said, if I don't make it, like I am royally screwed, and I just kept trying things and pitching. And as I'm pitching investors, nothing's connecting. Like I keep getting you're too early or some ridiculous excuses like the tire industry is not big enough. What? Like everyone has a car. What are you talking
look
about?
around, look at the tires.
Yeah.
Like
I get, I'm not experienced in startups. I've never ran a company before. I got the margins were too small. The competition was too much, like everything in the world. And I found some investors that believed in me, but it was too early. And I didn't get mad at that. Like I understood it's too early. I didn't have any revenue. And so I literally pivoted the business 4 times. In the accelerator, I was a search engine. Then I was a mobile tire installer. Then I was a B2B to C software company. Then I was just a regular e-commerce company that was just doing like everyone would do, like, I guess, like on Shopify. And then I started to really evolve the business. And then in our first year, so I took the offer from them in 2017, didn't actually launch the business you see today until September 2019. Yeah. After 3 months, we had 3 good months. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I could raise some money. Still, nobody wanted to invest. I did forget one thing, sorry, about while I was in my darkest time, and it's not a religious thing, I prayed. I don't even know what I was praying to, but I prayed to something, to whatever would listen. Yeah, to whatever would listen.
Greater power above.
Yeah, to anything. And would you believe, out of nowhere, someone rallied a group together and gave me $750,000. I took that money and I just experimented even faster because I knew the faster I could fail, the faster I could learn. Then September 2019, I finally launched and we have 3 good months and I go back to market to try to pitch again. Nothing, like crickets. And I still keep hearing the same thing that I heard a year ago, even though I did 10,000 revenue, then I did 30,000 revenue, then I did 90,000 revenue, still not good enough. My original investors came back to me, they go, we believe in you. We're going to give you more money. They gave me $1 million, about $1 million. I took that business and I said, you know what? Now I learned enough. I'm now going to scale this thing. And believe it or not, we have now grown every year since that time. The first year we did 3 million, then we did 33 million, then we did 75 and so forth. And it just kept scaling. And what was remarkable was as we were growing, I didn't give a crap whether people believed in me or not. I believed in me, and I believed that I could do it. And my investors, even though they knew I was getting rejected by VCs, they stuck with me. It was incredible. But I learned a lot through the journey. I had headaches along the way. I had a lot of pains. Like it sounds great to grow, right? It sounds amazing. It's not
Yeah.
always amazing. Like sometimes you feel like the walls are caving in on you, and you sometimes have to take a deep breath and be like, "Whoa, let me freeze. I cannot let the growth control me. I have to control the growth." And then that's when I took a step back and kind of reinvented who we were. So that's kind of like an insight to how it came. And we ended up later on raising a Series A and a Series B, but it wasn't always roses. I mean, it was a lot of trial and error and experimenting and failing. And that's how we kind of got here. And so from 2020 to now, which is I consider really when we started was 2020, we
Hmm.
sold over 2 million tires since then,
Wow.
well over. And it's been an incredible journey.
And you keep growing. I mean,
I keep growing. Yeah,
from
absolutely.
what I can see, you guys are just like you just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would love to take the credit. Trust me, I would love it. But the reality is without a good team, you don't have a good business, and without great customers, you don't have a good business. I mean, we
Oh,
built this company, we built Tire Agent on the sole backs of being a customer focused business,
yeah.
building really good customer service, building not just pre-sale customer service, but post-sale customer service. Like we want customers to know that we're
That's
there
so
for them.
key. That's so key, Jared. I mean, again, you cannot just sell something and then just say bye bye, right? You got
Yeah.
the post sale
Well,
is so.
that's what a lot of people I felt were doing wrong in my space. Like they cared so much about selling the tires and the products, but you would hear stories about customers having to go to a brick and mortar store to get their tires warranted because it wasn't being serviced by the online guy or the online person, I should say. And for us, our methodology has always been if a customer has a warranty issue, we will help them if it fits within the warranty guidelines, even if I have to lose some money, because that's just the cost of doing business is taking care of the customer. And so as long as it fits within the warranty guidelines, like we're here for them. That's just how it's always going to be. And I'm not changing that.
That's amazing. Okay, so we're talking a little bit about the business. You say tire agent and
Yep.
all of this. I'd like to hear a little bit more about what is the service and what do you guys offer?
Yep. So we're an online tire retailer. So if you come to our site, it's a very easy experience. We categorize tires in very layman terms. So like great warranty, best deal, great value, or best value, I should say. And then we have a few more we have as well. But we try to make it so that the person who knows nothing about tires can buy a tire and feel confident about their purchase. And then we'll ship the tires to either your home or to a local installer that's within our network because we do have a lot of installers within the network, thousands. We have really good customer service. We have a multitude of financing and payment plan options. But we're really like a full service online retailer.
That's
And we do not sell tires on any marketplace. We stay focused to our customer experience. We want to be able to control that and service the customer based on feedback that we get because I do read all the reviews that come in.
Oh yeah, that's important. That really is important. Okay, now that's great. Now we talked about a few values that you build your
Yep.
company on. And before I get on to this, I just got another question for you. Okay, so you
Yeah.
mentioned you went through some tough time, and I hear you. I mean, you can't even know what
Yeah.
that was not fun, right? What carried you through? What? Okay, you mentioned like you could, at one point you just spiraled down and you just throw the
Yeah.
towel. You did not throw the towel. I want to know what carried you through. What?
Well, there was a few things. So the first was the more people rejected me, the more that I felt I had to prove them wrong. So that was the first. Listen, spite is an incredible emotion,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
oh yeah.
it could carry you. The
I
second
hear
one
you.
was I started to see people around me fall on hard times, and I wanted to be there for them. I wanted to help them. The other thing was I did not have a backup plan. I didn't feel that I can go to my family for help. help. I didn't feel that I can go to my friends for help. I had an education, which is great, but the reality is when I graduated, you know, it was a weird time because in the market, I graduated in 2009, and back then digital marketing was not as advanced as it is today, right? So everything I learned in college really did not apply today. I'd have to go back to school. I had bills and I just didn't have a choice. I had to figure out through it. And I'm at the stage of my life now where being successful is great and continuing to want to be more successful is great. But the reason why I love doing like this podcast is because I want to help people. You know, in our company, we've helped feed the homeless. We've donated money to a village outside of this country. The homeless shelter we volunteered at was right here in New Jersey. I'm actually about to put together some efforts to help another nonprofit on the West Coast. So like for us, it's not about just being successful. It's what we could do to help people. And my emotion today that drives me is how can I help people? That's the main thing.
That's
And
beautiful.
customer service. And that's why I'm very customer service oriented, because at the end of the day, I want to make a difference in the world. It's not about just selling tires. It's, you know, I want to help the people that don't realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how dark things get. You know, so
Right.
that's really what pushes me today and what drove me. And the craziest part was at the time, I'll never forget this. And you know, looking back now, it's kind of funny.
Mhm.
But at the time, I was in a relationship when I started the company, and I told you everyone around me didn't believe in me. Not my friends, not my family, not VCs, right? And I remember I meet this girl's parents for the first time, and they go, "You'll never be successful, and either will your business." I'm telling you, I was like a dog foaming at the mouth. I was the type of person that once I heard that, nothing was going to motivate me more.
I
Nothing.
will do you.
I will prove that person wrong. Now, obviously, I'm not with that person anymore, right? But the thing is, you learn as you grow, as you start to see other people around you falling down in the startup world. You don't want to be one of those people. It's not a badge of honor to fail, right? It's a badge of honor to show people you can persevere, and that's really what kind of did it.
Yeah, and that's very true. And I would tend to agree with you on this. I mean, lots of the, again, I work with many, many businesses as well. And I find that the supreme test of any executive is not necessarily how right things are around you, it's your ability to make them right. And
100%.
that's really your supreme test. If you're an executive or you're a leader, if you are able, no matter how bad things are, if you're able to move move the ball down the line and actually make things right, you earn your badge, right?
Yeah.
And
So I told you it's not a badge of honor to fail, but what it is it's scars that you remember, that you learn from, that you
mhm,
keep with you. If I were to tell you that I don't remember everything that I had and I was just able to move on and see everything in roses, I'd be lying. Like look, it's PTSD. When you think you're
well,
down to your last meal and your last dollar and you don't know what's going to happen, that feeling never goes away, no matter how
mm-mm.
much you grow. So like I'm still the same person I was when I started. The only difference is I think I'm a better problem solver than I was back then.
Yeah, because I mean you earn your stripes.
Yeah.
Now, okay, this is great. Fantastic.
Sorry, I go on tangents.
I love this. No, that's great. This is what this podcast is all about. Um, we're talking about values. Now, you mentioned, you wouldn't be there if you wouldn't have your team with you to, push you forward.
Yep.
And I fully agree with you on this. Like having a great team is essential, right? Now, my question to you, Jared, is how do you choose your team members? How do you choose the people to work with? What's the criteria that you use for that?
Well, I love people that have been overlooked at past jobs, because if they've been overlooked, it doesn't mean they don't have the potential to get there, but it means they have something to prove. Just like I was overlooked by a lot
Hmm.
of people in the investor world, right? Like people didn't believe that I can do it. And so I love when people have that in them. They have that dog in them, that they have grit, that they're going to persevere. So that's the first thing I look for. I like people that have character, people that have good character, people that want to help the world, people that want to make a difference. And it's, and you learn that when you're talking to someone, right? Like, and it doesn't mean you have to save the homeless. It could mean that, maybe you're helping someone in your family, maybe you've donated your time to charity at some point in your life. Maybe you just have a heart and or maybe you've gone through hard times and you know what it's like to struggle. The other thing is you got to have the skill sets, right? Like you hire the person, not the position all the time. So like, yeah, we always have job openings and stuff like that. But sometimes when you meet a good person that has a skill set, you can figure out something to bring them in. I had an employee that worked in another department we had, and we ended up closing that department. And instead of me just firing the person, I said, listen, the department's gone, but I want to keep you and I want to move you into another role and give you a promotion. And we did that.
Good.
And we have actually,
How did he or she do?
well, he was on vacation when I told him the news. So
Oh my God, poor guy.
at first he was panicking, but he had faith in me. And I've done that multiple times. I
Hmm.
have moved people from one department to another where you would think that the skill set doesn't transition, but it does, and it's worked out. The other thing is we have very little turnover in our company. Most of our employees that get hired, they stay. So like, yes, I fired people over time, right? Because maybe you have to. You hire slow, fail fast, fire fast, right? Like that's the methodology. But people that we rarely have people quit. That's what I'm trying to say. We rarely have people quit, and it's because people love it here. My first employee I ever had stayed with me for 4 years, and I'm still friends with him today. I have only had about seven-ish people quit in 7 years, and I'm friendly with a lot of those people still. Right? I could be wrong about the number, but I'm friendly with most of the people still. I still keep in touch because you don't have to end on a bad note. Like I've even had people that came to me and say, "I don't want to quit. I got this offer. What do you think I should do?" And I'd be like, "Hey, you should take it. Like if it's a better opportunity, you should take it." It's not because I don't want to see them go. It's because I want the best for people in general, right? And if you have that methodology with people, then you're going to do great. But most of our employees here that work here have been with us for years. And it's because, yes, rules are rules, okay? But you also have to build a culture of having a heart and caring and want people to be happy about where they work and feel like this is a home. And that's the kind of atmosphere we built here. And that's the biggest lesson that I can tell you about hiring is when you hire people, hire for the right reasons. Make sure you're hiring good people. Make sure you know them more than just an interview. Like try to get to the root of who they are as a person and then treat your employees like gold because without your employees, there is no company.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, again, that's the backbone of your
Sorry, I just gave you a monologue.
I love it. No, this is great. Jared, this is again, as I said earlier at the beginning of the podcast, it's very inspiring to hear your story and to see how you've grown your business. I mean, an entrepreneur is very interesting because you start from nothing, like 9, 10 years ago. Well, tire agent, was it existing? No, there was nothing there.
Honestly, I never even knew I was going to do this. Like, I I had like I guess some aspirations to be an entrepreneur, but it wasn't like I woke up every day thinking I have to own a business. I have to own a business. Like that was not the case. I was happy. I was content. I was satisfied where my life was. And then when I just saw things changing where I was working, I just knew I couldn't go down with the ship. I knew I didn't have a choice but to latch onto any like raft I could. And that raft turned out to be Entrepreneur Roundtable Accelerator. So I want to give them a shout out for that one because they saved me. And without them, I don't know what I would be doing, to be honest.
Wow. All right, that's amazing. I mean, again, I'm like very inspiring. Now, just want to go down a little bit more down that line of
Sure.
hiring and all this. Now, when you hire, what's more important for you? Soft skills or hard skills? What are you looking at the most?
Um, I never know what category this fits in, so you'll have to tell me. You're the expert on this one, but
Well, the soft
I would
skills are
say,
like more like the people's, the ability
yeah,
to
yeah,
problem
yeah,
solve, the
yeah.
ability to
No,
understand. A hard skill would be, well, can I get into the tire and then just like can I change a tire? That's the hard skill, right?
I
Um,
don't care. I don't care. I guess about that per se. I want to make sure I jive with the person. I want to make sure like our personalities blend. That
Okay.
that's number one. Like you have to check that box because you could be the most skilled person in the world. If I can't be in a room with you for 10 hours a day, I can't work with you. I'll be miserable.
It won't work.
So it won't work. It won't work. I mean, think of it this way: if you work in an office, you will spend half of your life, if not more, with your coworkers more than you would your partner. So that's number one. Number two, do you have an ability to learn? Most of the positions we have here did not require like specific skills ahead of time. They were skills that could be learned over time. So soft skills, in terms of what you're saying, like you just need to have the ability to understand. You need to have the ability to work hard and to practice and to be patient. When you're working for a startup, emotional endurance is the most important factor because on my all hands meeting that I have every couple weeks, actually, I think now it's like once a month, but what we do is we tell people when things are going good and when things are going bad. And when things are going bad, I tell them a plan on how we're getting out of it. Does it always work? No. But people just like to know that you have a plan, that you're working out of it and you're complacent with it. So I would say the soft skills are probably more important to me, unless you're talking about like a specific job like coding or marketing. But other than that, you can learn things.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, it's important because look, again, I'm sure. Look, from going from 3 million to 33 and then more, right? An organization evolves. It's like a person, right? It's an entity in itself. It evolves. Its needs evolve. So if you have somebody that, you know, fits into something and cannot learn to evolve with the company,
Yeah.
it becomes really, really tough. So that idea of having of being able to understand, to be able to learn, to be able to be flexible and move.
I'll give you a great example right now that's happening. We have an
Yep.
employee right now that was our social media person. And I saw something in her and I said, look, what do you want to do for the rest of your career? Do you want to do this? Because if so, that's fine. And we'll build a team around you at some point. Or do you want to do something else? And the person said, well, I'm open to other things. And I said, well, now that I know you're open to other things, here's what I'm going to suggest. And I suggested, and I wasn't forcing the person because I do not believe in forcing. But I said, here's your choice. You can stay where you are, in which, I don't know what the future will bring, or you can take a chance on yourself, go to a digital boot camp, and Tire Agent will pay for it. And she took the chance and she's going through and she's incredibly happy and excited for it. And I saw something in this person. But we shuffle people around all the time. When we feel that the personality is good, but the skill set maybe doesn't, maybe that one position isn't a good fit, but maybe something else is, we'll do it. I mean, I'm not going to like force a position out of nowhere, but if it's something that's been in the back of my mind that's like, okay, I need to hire for this position eventually, I'll be patient.
Oh yeah, well, that's great. I mean, again, that sounds like a very good place to work with. I'm telling you, Jared, it's like you've built a great team, a great purpose. The values are fantastic. Um, yeah, and that's good. I mean, I'm so happy to be able to have done that with you. We're getting to the end of our
Oh, no.
podcast
Okay.
right now. I could talk. I mean, I could have you on a seminar here, and you can just talk to my guys. That would be very very nice. I'm sure we could fill a whole day with this and your
I
experience.
would love it.
But again, we're at the end of the podcast, and I want to thank you for participating and to give us that inspiring story of yours. And not only that, I think there's a lot of takeaways in what you said, like lots of points on leadership and grit, and stay the course, and how you manage your personnel. It's great. So thank you very much for all this wisdom.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks for reaching out. I mean, this has been great.
Yeah, it has been a great interview. I'm very happy that you took the time. I mean, again, what you've got on your plate, you taking the time to do this. Thank you. All right. On that note, that's the end of the interview. So I'm going to be signing off. This is Philippe Dubois for Beyond Business as usual. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for the next interview. Bye for now.